It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
Hey! Welcome, Patrick Johnson Show here on this Get You to the Weekend edition. It is our Friday fun time, the feel-good edition. And Phil the Rep Pilkington producing the show today. Brian Mull's going to be with us. We're going to talk hoops and golf. Pilk, abrupt ending there. No fade down. Come on, Pilk, I'm singing your praises of what a great job you're doing producing, and then
amateur hour hits.
Yeah, you hit a rookie move. What the heck? That intro has me with the infamous Memphis call. I'll say famous, but I'm very modest and humble about it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So the much maligned intro video for Pirate basketball, much maligned, features me at the beginning with that Pirates win. Have you picked up on that, or are you too busy being a chatty Cathy at the beginning of the game with somebody?
Oh no, I've picked up on it.
Okay.
It doesn't just happen towards the beginning. It is the beginning.
It is the beginning. That's a good point. We're usually standing by for television at that point. And so I only hear my voice because I can't get enough of the sound of it. Again, I'm real modest and humble about all this. Just saying, Pilk.
Yeah.
Just saying. But I think that's pretty cool. It's kind of an honor to be in that is what I'm gearing towards here or driving towards here. I think it's an honor to be involved.
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, hey, how many people can say, other than the players and the coaches, that they are in the hype video in any way? Maybe a couple of fans, but it's just a quick clip of their face.
So I'm thinking about this the other day. If you based on the game that happened Wednesday, I've had in the 3+ years of calling the games exclusively for the last 2+ seasons, into the third season. Did some the season before I became the exclusive. And I've had 4 game winners that I've called. That Memphis shot, the transaction the other night.
Yeah, Kennesaw State this year.
And then Kennesaw State beating Northeastern in that MTE event.
Yeah.
Which also was a Sports Center top 10. Little known fact.
It was.
So the 4 of the 4, and I don't know what happened the other night, if it showed up on anything on ESPN, the pass. But I know 3 of those have made ESPN's Sports Center top 10. Now that and $4 will get you some really fancy coffee.
And two, what was the nominations you guys got for Talk of the Town and that show in Kentucky you do?
Yeah, I got a Marconi. Nominated for the Marconi. Yeah, I mean, I'm the only 2-time loser in the history of the Marconis in the same night. Only one, ever. Only one. Enough about me. Let's talk about me. Off weekend, I'm looking forward to a little R&R. Have some plans cooking. Pilk, what do you got this weekend? There is women's basketball tomorrow in town, but what do you have otherwise?
I'm going to go to the women's basketball game and then watch some NFL football, I guess, all weekend. Probably catch the second half of the Pirates and Blazers on the men's side. Yep. And, I guess that's about it. Probably watch other college basketball, but definitely excited for the NFL football playoffs.
All right, you did your picks earlier on iGo, so we're not doing anything here that is, trampling on his exclusive segment. Because I'm a giver. I'm not a taker. So, who are your picks, Bill?
Well, on Igo's show, we did them against the spread. So for your show, I'll just go my straight-up picks because
that's
this can
fine.
obviously vary. I don't think all four home teams.
Wait a minute. Although I don't mind you doing it against the spread because it's for entertainment purposes only.
True. I would have to remind myself of the lines, so I don't have those in front of me.
Well, then don't do it. Then just pick straight up, Pilk.
Yes,
I mean,
straight up.
Give all the good stuff to Igo, and the show here. That's the number one drive time show in Greenville. Let's not worry about going full bore with a full show here. And by the way, I get forwarded stuff on the message. People send me screenshots of the message board when they're talking about how fat I am and all this other stuff. And let me just tell you something. Somebody said, I like Pilk. He tells it like it is. Here's the thing you people don't want. I swear to you, you don't want this. You don't want me to really start telling it like it is. I'm being diplomatic because I kind of have to be in some of my vocations. But if I could just turn loose and go scorched earth on everything, but I'm a gentleman. So don't do the lines. No need to bring the full entertainment value to this show, Mr. Tell It Like It Is, according to some message board screenshot that I got. Just give me your straight up winners.
I was about to say, if you want me to re-look up the lines, I can do it.
No.
Okay.
I mean,
so here's my thing.
You weren't a Boy Scout, were you, Pilkington?
For like 1 year, then it was like Boy Scouts or play basketball, and I was like, I'm going to hoop all I can.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So,
you weren't. So you're not always prepared.
No. So it's weird. I don't think all four home teams win. I think somebody jumps up and gets bit. I'm just not sure who it is. So I'm going to run with all four home teams and hope to go 3-1 in picks.
Okay.
If anybody jumps up and gets bit, I know it sounds crazy. I think if anybody it happens to anybody, it's the Ravens though. Look, and I will have not been high on Houston this year because I don't think they can sustain drives. I think they rely too much on explosion plays. But because the Ravens can score high and they can score high, they can get in those shootout. This could be a shootout type of game, and Houston does well in shootout games. So if the over hits, I could definitely see Houston pulling off the upset. Also, Lamar in the playoffs has been abysmal. But just straight up picking, like I said, I'm not really sure who's going to jump up and get bit. So to hedge my bets, I'm going with all the home teams. I'm ready to watch Patty lose on the road in the playoffs. It's going to be fun. Go Bills. No. He's used to the cold, but that cold coming off that river, off that lake is different.
Give me the Ravens. We're doing just straight up picks here. Give me the Ravens. Give me the Niners. Big. Give me the Lions. Although I am tempted to maybe take the Bucks, but give me the Lions. And you know what? I'm going to take the Bucks. I'm taking the Bucks. And give me the Chiefs.
He believes in Andy Reid and the Chiefs.
I do. Any man that can coach with a mustache that was had icicles hanging from it last week is a great coach. Great coach. That
is true. The only thing we missed in that is the last time a game was that cold, we got to hear Lombardi say, "What the hell's going on out here?" And we didn't get that from Andy Reid. No infamous lines, but at least we got the infamous mustache.
Well, the icicles hanging from the mustache maybe kept him from being able to yell.
I think the icicles were from him yelling. It was all the moisture from his breath.
Well, it could have been. Yeah, could have been. All the moisture from his breath. He might have been huffing and a puffing. Very good. So, yeah, that's our NFL. Speaking of which, the Panthers, we had Zoki on yesterday, right?
Yep.
They're obviously continuing to look for their next head coach. They had a virtual interview with the Houston offensive coordinator yesterday. And I didn't realize that guy, Bobby Slowick? I didn't realize Slowick was a defensive side of the ball guy before he went to San Francisco. And that's when he became an offensive guy. Isn't that interesting?
That is, but when you talk to someone like Jeremy Lewis, for example, who, he started at tight end and has made his way to the defense, they talk about how much they understand the second side of the ball better now because they understand what the where they came from, what that side is trying to do to them. So I think when a guy can make that jump and be successful at both, it really, it's even that much more impressive, and maybe is an advantage for the fact that he used to be a defensive guy, because now he comprehends more of what defenses are trying to do to him than a guy who's done offense his whole life.
And then they talked to the Bengals offensive coordinator, Brian Callahan. Now, I think it's obviously wise to interview several. What is there a minimum that you? I know there's the Rooney Rule, but are there any other that you have to interview X amount of candidates? Anything like that? We know a minority candidate has to be included in your candidate pool, but it seems to be like they're interviewing a wide swath. Is that accurate, Pilk?
Yeah, that's accurate. I don't think there's too many rules. There is rules with obviously the Rooney Rule, and then how many there has to be secondary interviews, and you either have to bring in at least 3 guys, I think, for a secondary interview.
For a secondary, you got to have a round of 3.
Gotcha. Or a maybe if you only interviewed 3, then you could get away with 2 kind of thing. I'm not really sure exactly how that works, but I don't know like I said, with that first wave, there's not as many rules as there is with the second wave.
Here's how I kind of see this thing, Pilk. Like I said yesterday, I would prefer if Carolina get a coordinator to be a head coach, but I think that coordinator needs to have had some head coaching experience. What do you think?
If you're going to coach under Tepper, you need to be able to put Tepper in his place, and some guy who's just been a coordinator his whole life isn't going to do that. So if you're Tepper and you want to be able to micromanage everything, you're going to hire a guy who's never been a head coach because you want a guy who can't stand up to you. But if you're a fan or you're someone who just wants what's best for the team, no, you're 100% right, Patrick. The problem is what I and the other 500,000 Panther fans want and think is best for the team is different than the guy who's making the decisions.
I think, let me tell you, they should have hired or at least interviewed. I mean, maybe they did, but it hadn't been public. They should have interviewed Cliff Kingsbury. Now he's going to go to the Bears. And if Fields is kept as the quarterback, I think you'll see a huge difference in what's going on there.
Yeah, I like
Bears
Kingsbury.
Fans I've talked to are very excited about him calling the plays.
Yeah.
Very excited.
The thing is with Kingsbury, he needs a true good DC with him to be successful.
I
but
get
we've
it,
got
but
one.
I'm just saying, right, you've got one in Carolina. You've got a scheme that works in Carolina. Why not get a guy like that who is an offensive help me with the word here, Pilk. Offensive
guru,
renaissance man or guru, yeah. Even I mean, I don't understand why that one would kind of slip through the cracks, because that seemed like a pretty good one, and I think the Bears got a good one there. All right, you got ECU basketball coming up this weekend, and we'll do a Pirate Report next. Run through some of the comments that Coach Swartz made the other night and get you ready for ECU and UAB, which is coming up at 3 o'clock on Saturday with a 2:30 airtime here on 94.3 The Game.
It's Greenville Toyota's Winter Wrap-Up Event. Wrap up a great deal on over 100 pre-owned vehicles, starting under $15,000. We have all makes and models, including luxury. Plus, wrap up a huge warranty and no-charge maintenance. Hurry into Greenville Toyota.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins', we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Hey, grab me one too.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
It's Greenville Toyota's winter wrap-up event. We're wrapping up the year with our biggest savings. Shop new Camrys and RAV4s, $289 a month. Need credit? Get pre-qualified today. Wrap up a great deal with payments from $289 at Greenville Toyota.
And now, Patrick Johnson with today's Pirate Report on the flagship station of the ECU Pirates, 94.3 The Game.
All right. ECU and UAB tomorrow. Pilk, look up the last time these two teams played.
All right.
And we're going to hear from Coach Schwartz. Pirates trying to get off the two-game schneid. 9-9 overall. They are 2-3 in the American, but could very easily with the road win. Of course, they're coming off a road win the last road game they played, but if they could get the victory tomorrow, they'd be back to 500 in the conference, have 10 wins. And your mojo's a little different when you go into Wichita State on the following Wednesday. So 2:30 will be the airtime here on 94.3 The Game, 107.9 WNCT, and the IBX Media app. Let's hear from Coach Schwartz on what he kept telling the players throughout the game against North Texas, where the Pirates lost by 1.
I told the guys when the game started, I told the guys at halftime, and I told them this is going to come down to a possession game. This is high-level conference basketball, and we're a team that can compete with any team in this league. That doesn't mean we can win every game, obviously, but we have the ability to compete and beat anybody, but we also have the ability to lose to anybody, and we know that, and that's where we are right now. But that's every team in conference play.
All right. Hello. We got some folks watching on the YouTube feed. Very special folk watching on the YouTube feed. So hello. Let's see here. Coach Schwartz on talking through what happened. Is this at the end of the game he's talking about, Pilk? So particularly at the end of the game.
We shoot 61% from the free throw line. Is that what we shot? 61%. Yeah. And that hurts in a game like this. That's a slower paced game. I thought we defended well. We shot 42% versus a team that's an elite defensive team in terms of our field goal percentage. You got to make the freebies. We didn't, but we still were in position. We made shots down the stretch. We missed a couple. They made some. They missed a couple, and it comes down to one play at the end. Not that that play is the only play, but you give them credit on a heave play. On a heave play, they balls. It's a Hail Mary, and they came down with it.
All right, let's see here. Jaden Walker, the impact he had on the game. I thought he was fantastic the other night. And he obviously has been dealing with a nagging injury.
Injuries are a part of basketball. Jaden is dealing with a pretty good nagging one, and I'm very proud of Jaden. I mean, he makes a huge impact on our team when he is what he was tonight. And, Quentin would make a huge impact on our team. These are really good guards, high major level guards that can play in these games and impact these games. And, we just weren't able to close out the last possession, but I'm very proud of Jaden.
All right, and then the psyche of this team going forward after such a tough loss.
We started to address it right just now. You have to. I mean, just understanding that, look, I know this program and this team, we're not where we're going to be. And I guarantee that. We're not where we're going to be in terms of this program, whether it be this year and in the future. But I do know on any given night, this team and what these guys put into it, we can go toe-to-toe with anybody. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to get the result we want every time, and they're going to come down to some miraculous plays. We've been on the other end of some of that sometimes. But the guys understanding that as we're pushing this thing up this mountain, that we can go toe-to-toe with anybody. But it's going to come down to possession games, and fouling jump shooters late in the game is stuff we got to eliminate. Those are just more young mistakes than they are anything else. And we're going to get there, but each time is a learning experience, and we will get better from this game.
Swartz talking about what happened on the final play.
It's the same. It's a Hail Mary. I mean, it's a Hail Mary. We had our guys back. I mean, it's a Hail. It wasn't like there was 1 second or 0.5 seconds where you can just put 5 guys back. Okay, like you give that ball to Jason Edwards in the backcourt, 3 seconds, he's going to get a great shot. I mean, with 1.3, Ezra hit the backboard. So a shot with 3 seconds left, there's a number of ways it can go. And, I mean, there was no screening and running around by North Texas. That was a look back. I saw their players. We have no timeouts, and they did a great job staying composed. The kid took the ball out, and they just heaved the ball, and the ball was up there. I mean, that would have been called a duck in football. I mean, that thing was up in the air. And Hail Mary catch, and he makes it, and he's able to put it in, and you give them credit for the pass, credit for the poise, credit for the catch, credit for the layup.
Coach Swartz, we've already had this one guy. He kind of talked about this already in 6. The same thing as, 4, I guess, right? So let's go to 7 on the vast soundbite roster. The late offensive possession that gave ECU the lead, and we're talking about R.J. Felton's shot here. So here's Coach Swartz on that as we wrap up our audio portion of the Pirate Report.
Yeah, one other time we had gone to an isolation for RJ at the elbow that we do, and RJ has very good, numbers there in doing that, and they got to stop, and they went down and scored, and we went 2 times in a row knowing we have an action that we can, work to get RJ going downhill, and he did it both times. I mean, one time he got a layup. I thought it was a physical drive, physical contact. Again, I can't make too many comments on what I see, but I know what I think I see, and it was a physical drive. And then the next time was, he got it, and they did a nice job cutting him off, and he got to his spot, and he made a mid-range jump shot. We knew RJ had the hot hand, and we were going to stay with it. And we love RJ, but I'll put RJ, Brandon, Ezra, Cam, put Brandon back at the free throw line next time. I know he'll make them. I mean, it didn't go in tonight.
Yeah, and, it's interesting, the 4 he mentioned there and maybe who he didn't mention. But, to me, you do have to – I'm not saying he's just saying that, but you have to say that because you want these guys to be confident moving forward. Pilk, when's the last time these 2 played? Obviously, they were Conference USA foes.
Yeah, it was February 1st, 2014 in Birmingham. Pirates won the game 74-67.
So it's almost 10 years since ECU has played UAB. How about that? Good news and nuggets there, Pilk, on that. Good stuff.
Appreciate it.
Again, the airtime tomorrow, 2:30, 3 o'clock. Tip from Birmingham in the Bartow Arena. And you can listen to it here on 94.3 The Game or on 107.9 WNCT or the IBX Media app. All right. Many of you know I am currently working with East Carolina Weight Loss. Done really well, about 14 pounds down in a month's time, which is pretty good. Look, this isn't one of those deals where you're on drugs or it's an injection type of thing. That's fancy and apropos now. You're doing this naturally, safely, and effectively without counting points, without counting calories, no exercising. I hate exercising. Need to get back to walking more. It's so cold out, though. And no prepackaged meals. Like I said, no drugs, no surgery, no injections with the risk of serious side effects, because that's been happening. I encourage you to go to EastCarolinaWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation. You can go on this journey with me. The phone number you could call also is 252-496-3610. 496-3610 here in Greenville. EastCarolinaWeightLoss.com. Look, you can go to restaurants and eat. There are certain foods you can eat as much as you want. I mean, I was a big snacker, and I have not had any issues with the desire to eat because of this program, snack between meals. In fact, a couple nights this week, I've kind of had to force myself to eat something for dinner, like a protein at least, because I'm just not hungry. And, we'll keep going. We'll keep plugging ahead because I got a long way to go. I'll be the first to admit that. But I'm down quite a bit since this started, and I'm very proud of that fact. So, again, EastCarolinaWeightLoss.com. Let me give you that phone number again if you want to call and mention me. It's 252-496-3610. All right, Philip the Ref Pilkington with a 94.3 The Game sports update and Pirate report. And then we're going to get Brian Mull on to talk some hoops. And Mull's going to be on to talk some golf. Here's Pilk.
Thanks, P-Man. Starting in Pirate basketball, the team has added a new addition to the roster. Is Benkeo Vungo from Southern Coast Academy in Orlando has been added to the team. He is a 6'7" freshman of Angolian descent that has played on the Angolian national team. He will be immediately eligible to play for the Pirates men's basketball program. The men will be back in action tomorrow when they take on UAB at 3 o'clock, airtime at 2:30 right here on 94.3 The Game, as well as our sister station, 107.9. Also be sure to come out to the women's game tomorrow at 2 o'clock as they take on the SMU Mustangs. Bill O'Brien has taken the job as the offensive coordinator for Ohio State. The former Houston Texans head coach was most recently the offensive coordinator for Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. The Canes will be back in action tonight as they host the Detroit Red Wings. They try and bounce back after a tough loss to the LA Kings on Hall of Fame night on Monday afternoon when they inducted Justin Williams into the team's Hall of Fame. The Hornets will host the Spurs tonight. This could be an opportunity to snap a 6-game win streak as the Spurs come in with only 7 wins on the season, one less than the Hornets. However, they did blow the Hornets out in San Antonio just a few weeks ago. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and a Pirate Report. On the other side of this timeout, we'll be joined by Brian Mull, a golf and basketball writer, to preview everything with this week's golf tournament as well as everything going on in the world of college hoops.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Download the new IBX Media app now and get the show for your ears and eyes.
Doesn't it look great on me?
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
All right, we got Mull. There he is. Brian Mull. Are you on the road this week? It looks like a road trip for you, potentially there, Mull.
Yeah, I had to do a little traveling.
Okay. Had to get away. All right, now say no more. Say no more, Mull. Say no more. All right, we've got a lot to talk about here. South Florida knocks off Memphis last night. How about that? And, you know, Memphis had kind of been living on the edge, but the Bulls got them last night and got them in Memphis, got them at the FedEx Forum.
Yeah, that was impressive. Quite the comeback. I think they were down 20 at one point in that game or close to it. And I felt like South Florida made a good hire and would continue to improve. That's a loss that certainly hurts Memphis, but doesn't crush their NCAA tournament at large hopes. But, you never like to lose one at home. But I think it just speaks to the depth of this conference, ranked number 9 in KenPom. And you can make an argument that maybe it's even a touch stronger than that, may end up at 8th or 7th. And, I think a lot of teams that were maybe finding themselves in the non-conference, whether they had a coaching change or a roster overhaul or are really starting to play better basketball now that we're into league play.
Brian Mull with us. Follow him on X at BG Mull. He tweets about golf. He tweets about college basketball. He tweets about music sometimes. I'm not a UCF fan on any level. I like Johnny Dawkins, but I'm not a UCF fan on any level. But they go to Texas and win. They've knocked off Kansas. We kind of were thinking in private conversations and even maybe here on the show that they might be of the new additions to the Big 12, the one that would struggle the most. But, I mean, it's a destination. It's warm. They've got a great arena. Johnny's got a great reputation as a class act. And then how about the ridiculous thing with the horns down and that guy bitching and moaning about it? And Johnny Dawkins could have eviscerated the guy in the press conference, but he's so classy he did not. But anyway, my point is, what a great job done by Dawkins.
Yeah, I mean, you look at UCF, they had a couple of questionable losses in the non-conference, and you're kind of scratching your head and thinking this team is not equipped or prepared to go into what is historically over the last decade been the strongest conference top to bottom in college basketball. And 2-2, 11-5 overall. Certainly not in the at-large conversation at this point. But the beautiful thing about being a member of a league like the Big 12, you have an opportunity to enhance your resume every single night, and they're taking steps in that fashion. It doesn't get any easier. They hook up with old American rival at Houston over the weekend, and certainly that will be a difficult task. But I just think it speaks also to the parity that we're seeing around college basketball, whether it's some of the mid-major conferences that I follow closely, or even at the top. That really, it's an old cliche, but on any given night, any of these conference teams are capable of knocking off any of the others.
Not only was I watching the end of the USF Houston upset last night, but I watched a lot of Asheville knocking off Winthrop, going into their building and doing that. That's a hell of a game. And who's the kid for Asheville? Pember?
Drew Pember.
He's amazing.
Unicorn.
Whew.
Yeah. Hits threes, leads the nation for the second year in a row in free throw attempts and makes, rebounds the ball. A guy that you feel like could get a triple-double at any given moment. He signed with Tennessee out of high school, and obviously, just wasn't quite physical enough for Rick Barnes' style and the SEC, and has just found a home now in his third year at Asheville, a dominant force in that conference, and certainly gives them an opportunity with a great coach like Mike Morrell to get back to the NCAA tournament in what is probably the strongest Big South in recent memory, top to bottom. Just a lot of old dudes, a lot of experienced teams enhanced through the portal, and a really competitive league at the top.
Pember, he's at least going to play in the G League and could play overseas. Now, he may even get a true shot at the NBA. But I mean, I was impressed by him, and he's so in control. He's just great, Brian Mull with us here. All right, let's talk quickly about ECU in North Texas, who is now the first place team in the American. How about the Mean Green? And I think they've got a great coach too. I think they made a tremendous hire by elevating from within. That guy's got a lot of JUCO experience, which in this day and age is invaluable, because JUCO builds that roster year to year, and that's where we are now, especially in basketball. So we'll talk about that. Let's get the Pirate perspective. Well, I'm sure if you weren't watching it, you've seen the sequence at the end by now.
You can't let that happen at home in a conference game. That's a tough way to lose. But I think when you really break that game down, the Pirates lost it in two places. And it comes down to the final play, and that's what everyone will remember. But you can't give up 15 offensive rebounds on your home floor in a conference game. That's just putting too much pressure on your defense. And then you can't shoot 60% from the free throw line. And I think the problem I've seen with this East Carolina team is the offense was really good in the non-conference because they were playing with a little bit more pace and getting out in transition. And now that they've gotten into more of the half-court grind of conference play, the defense is better, but the offense has just been spotty. It's been inconsistent. Players from night to night not being as reliable. And as good as Pettiford has been, he's been elite at, playmaking, assist to turnover ratio, but I think they need more scoring from him. Night in, night out, he needs to be a guy who's right around double figures.
Do you call the push? Now, Igo says Eads in the office apologized to Swartz, and I don't know if he said this specifically, but it was interpreted, I think, by people that that the league called Mike immediately after. Mike called the league. Mike called Eads immediately after. It wasn't the other way. But the point is, and Igo's right about this, and I'd heard the same thing. The conference said, "Look, you got blanked. We know." So, and look, that's a Final Four crew. That was guys referencing the Final Four on that crew. You can't look. They swallowed the whistle because Brandon Johnson traveled at the end, and they didn't call it.
Right.
So I mean, they did swallow the whistle. But I mean, you got to make the. I contend, whether you're swallowing the whistle or not, Brian, had ECU been the team on the road in Denton throwing the Hail Mary and Brandon Johnson or anybody, Ezra Azar had pushed off, it'd have been called.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you would feel like at home you're going to be on the right side of that whistle. And, it was a tough call. It's a tough way to lose a very important game. They're all important, but, officiating's hard in the moment. It's easy for us at home with the luxury of replay and it's difficult. The best guys, those guys probably have a 90+% accuracy rate. That's why they've called the games they have. And it's a tough way to lose. But again, I think ECU could have had a couple of possession lead in that game if they would have been a little better on the glass and knocked down a few free throws.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to UAB, what's the book on the Blazers?
Well, I think Andy Kennedy who I think is a terrific coach and just a great guy. And
a great broadcaster. He was so good on TV.
He was a phenomenal broadcaster.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, he did an incredible job. And look, he had to overhaul his roster. He lost the meat from an excellent NIT runner-up team last year and had to bring in a lot of transfers, acquired a lot of talent, but it wasn't fitting together very well early. And I think he was particularly peeved about their defense and toughness, which were not to his standard whatsoever. Since they've gotten into conference play, the defense has improved. They do have a lot of scoring talent on offense, and they're very tough at home historically. They dropped a couple earlier this year, but it seems like they're starting to find their way. And he's a guy that I'm never going to count out. I'm always going to bank on an Andy Kennedy team improving. He's never going to be shorthanded in the talent department. And he'll find the guys who are willing to defend, and they'll be the ones that are in the rotation going forward. So this is a tough test for the Pirates. I mean, there are not many pushover games in this league right now. And it's not desperation for ECU, but they'll have to go down there and earn it.
Andy Kennedy won nearly 250 games at Ole Miss. That should tell you a lot right there. But his previous 3 years at UAB, here are his victories: 22, 27, 29. Yeah. I mean, the guy, it's just great. Just a great coach.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
How about North Texas sitting atop the conference standings right now?
They just keep getting it done. I mean, here's a team that's missing its starting backcourt. And for most programs in America, I don't care, name a team, if you take away their starting guards and now you're going into conference play and you're going on the road and you would think, disaster, losing streak. We're just not going to be able to finish games. And that program just you talk about consistency. I agree with you, made a tremendous decision to just promote from within. They had a style that worked, a recruiting base that worked. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. And they're tough. They are very comfortable in 1 and 2 possession games with the slow, deliberate style they play. And they just don't give you many comfortable looks on offense. Everything's challenged, tough on the glass. And it doesn't seem to matter who's in the uniforms there. They lost their dominant guard from last year. And like I said, down their starting backcourt this year and then in a new conference and just chugging along right at the top where they're comfortable.
Yeah, great stuff. Let's get a break. We'll come back. I want to ask you a little bit about the weekend schedule. I want to ask you about the Stone Cold Steve Austin moment in the NC State Wake game. I'm not talking about the physicality where there was a stunner on a layup. No, I'm talking about the double bird. So I'm going to ask you about all of that and get a little golf talk in if time allows here with Brian Mull. He's going to stay with us. We'll be right back after this timeout, and Mull will have more here on the PJ Show.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience.
Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
Hey, grab me one too.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
And now, the stunning conclusion of the show. It's the P-Man here on 94.3 The Game.
All right, Brian Mull with us here at BG Mull on X. You can follow him there. Tweets out good stuff. Brian, Wolfpack have won back-to-back games. They'll host Virginia Tech tomorrow. Let's hope that no middle fingers will be extended.
Yeah, that's look, I'm not one to condemn or judge. We've all made bad decisions between the ages of 18 and 23. But you just got to understand now, in this era, everything is being recorded all the time. And you're not going to get away with it. And there's going to be repercussions for your actions. And it's emotional. And we all get caught up in the heat of the battle. But you just got to control yourself out there and have a little bit of discipline. And, there was not a lot of control on the NC State side. Kevin Keats getting ejected in the first half. But the Wolfpack pulled it out. I mean, they looked dead to rights in that game for 35 minutes, outplayed, out-hustled. But Middlebrooks was the difference maker. It was his game down the stretch. He absolutely took over on both ends, scoring and also his defense late. And kind of a different type of win for the Wolfpack, a tough game, a game that, like I said, didn't look like it was going their way. And they were able to pull it out 5-1. In a very weak ACC. And let me, the ACC schedule is so backloaded now that the month of January, just, go on a skiing trip, take a nap. I mean, you look at this weekend's lineup, snooze fest.
It's brutal.
City. They just backloaded all the games after the NFL, which I get it. But, how many times is Duke going to play Pittsburgh? UNC is going to play Boston College. Louisville should join the CAA. It's just a comic. It's a clown show. Clemson's a pretender, fraud, non-conference heroes once again. Just just a sad state of affairs for the Atlantic Coast Conference, what's left of it, and who knows how long.
Come on, Mo. You say that Louisville should join the CAA. Drexel and UNCW would kill Louisville. Come on. It's too big of a conference for them.
Louisville could maybe fight for the top 4 and get a bye in the CAA first round of the tournament. Maybe avoid Pillow Fight Friday.
Mull and I have called games on Pillow Fight Friday in that tournament before. All right. Speaking of the CAA, Charleston-Wilmington this weekend. Has that lost a little luster?
Oh, no. It's going to be electric. It's been sold out for a week. This will be UNCW's third consecutive home sellout.
And you know what? I think the fans in Wilmington are just happy that a legitimate team from Division I is actually coming to play there.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a home game until conference season started.
Their schedule was awful.
Which is a whole nother story. I mean, yeah, they got some great opportunities on the road, but it's just an embarrassment of a schedule for a mid-major program of that caliber not to have a Division I home game. But that being said, this is a game that will determine a lot, potentially the regular season champion. And also there's about a 5 or 6 team group that are fighting for those 4 byes. And in Wilmington's case, you certainly cannot lose at home, especially when you have to turn around and go down to Charleston in about 2 weeks. And you lost to them 3 times last year, including the conference tournament championship game. So it should be electric. UNCW will be a slight favorite. And honestly, with their veteran team and Charleston losing a lot of key pieces off last year, this is a game UNCW should win, coming off a nice win over Elon last night. And how about our guy, Pat Scarry, going down to Charleston and just bullying the Cougars last night in a very impressive, thorough victory.
Yeah, how about that? Pat Scarry's done a great job at Towson over the years. Okay, some golf talk here before we go. How about this?
Sure.
Angel Cabrera can return to the Masters if he gets a visa after just getting out of the clink. That news kind of broke, I think, later yesterday or this morning. I don't know how that works. Will he be able to get a visa after being in prison?
I mean, who makes that decision? Is it his home country? Is it our country? Is it both? Do the lawyers, are they able to have enough influence and say, look, this guy's not dangerous. He just made some horrible decisions. If you've ever wanted to be a fly on the wall in the champions dinner between the PGA Live guys and then now the convict, I mean, there could be some fascinating moments, awkward conversations. I just this is really uncharted territory, but good for Augusta National saying, we're not going to kick you out. You've paid for your crime. You're welcome to come back, compete in the tournament, but you got to clear things up with the people first. And
you got a little cleanup to do. I see where the senior or the Champions Tour is out in Hawaii, so that's good for Stuart Sink, maybe getting 2 or 3 weeks out there. The American Express is going on right now. There's a 2-way tie at the top, including Zach Johnson. This is how's the field on this? It's pretty good, actually. You got your guy Xander Schauffele in there. A decent field, JT.
Yeah, better, strong. This event in recent years, the last decade or so, has kind of been one that a lot of players would skip. But this is the strongest field it has had in some time. It's a great place, having been out there and worked that tournament in the past, in my past life, it really is a great place to kick off your season. Incredible practice facilities, perfect weather, golf courses are immaculate. Very little, there's no conditions, it's sunny, 70 degrees, no wind. So it's really a nice place if you haven't played a whole lot or competed a whole lot in the last couple of months to kind of iron out some kinks and get yourself in position for the rest of the West Coast swing. And I think, build your confidence a little bit because look, the winning score of this thing is going to be in the high 20s, if not 30 under. It's a birdie fest,
right?
Famously called a bleeping putting contest by John Rahm, who won the event a couple of years ago, and it is what it is. It's you got to hole some putts, make some birdies, make an eagle or two, and avoid the water. And it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Good for that event. So it's a long-standing event on the tour. Good for it to have a little star power this year.
Do we know what the schedule is? I mean, do we have an idea of what the PGA schedule is going to look like legitimately for the rest of the year?
We have a schedule for this year.
Okay.
The schedule for this year is solid.
Okay.
Of course, the elevated events have been rearranged a little. The certain events that were elevated like last year, like Scottsdale, the waste management is not this year. They're trying to appease all of their longtime sponsors by giving them an elevated event, guaranteeing them a strong field. But the tour live discussions, which were initially there was a December 31st deadline that has been extended. That was not realistic with all the various parties that have to be involved there. It looks like this management group with several professional sports team owners is looking at investing a large sum of money. That's the latest on that, but I'll believe it, when the papers are signed. And there is uncertainty going forward after this upcoming season of what things are going to look like.
All right, 15 seconds. Who's poised to have a big year on the tour this year?
I expect Justin Thomas to bounce back. He's too talented. I think last year was very frustrating for him. He tried some different things with his diet. I mean, he's going to have a good year. He'll win a couple of tournaments.
Okay. Hey, Mull, have a great weekend.
Okay, you too, Patrick. Thanks.
There he goes, Brian Mull. All right, thanks to Brian for being with us. Thanks to Philip the Ref Pilkington. Have a great weekend, everybody. Be safe out there, and we'll see you Monday morning at 7 on Talk of the Town. And back here, 3 o'clock for the video portion, 5 o'clock PJ Show on 94.3 The Game. We'll have ECU Baseball Media Day coverage, and Mike Mullis in the studio. Mully Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.